Hi everybody, Tashi here from Pixie Mommy's Reborns. Welcome back to my channel, and to everyone new, hello and welcome. So today I am rolling out the first video in my new mini series. This is geared towards new collectors or just any collectors wanting to kind of gather a lot of information in one video, or hopefully I'll do an okay job of giving that information. So this is the starter up for all of you that have been waiting. We've got lots of new collectors coming into the community. I've got lots of new subscribers on my channel. Many of you are new to the hobby and only have just started, maybe have a doll or two, maybe don't have a doll and you're looking for a doll, or maybe you're taking that leap from Reborn to silicone. So this is what that's for, and these specific videos I will be putting up a playlist for so everybody can easily find them. So before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to please go ahead and give this video a like, a thumbs up. Check and make sure you are subscribed to this channel, and make sure that you hit your notification bell so that you receive invites to my live streams and so you never miss a video. Also, you can find me on Instagram at pixiemommies_reborns. That's always also in the description of all of my videos. You can hop along and follow me there to see pictures of all my dolls. And I'm very active there every day on Instagram. Other news is my new logo is coming soon, PMR. I'm designing that myself, so keep an eye out for my new logo on my community page. If you visit the tab of community page of the community page on my channel, you can see my posts there, and that's probably where I'll post my new logo first and any news. So we're going to get right down into business and start learning a bit. So very important when you're looking to buy your first Reborn or silicone doll. We're going to kind of go slow. We'll start it up here with Reborn dolls. First and foremost, you definitely want to know the difference between a Reborn doll and a silicone doll. So a silicone doll is completely different than a Reborn doll. Although this hobby is like Reborn and silicone doll collecting, silicone dolls are completely different. Silicone dolls are made of silicone, soft and squishy. This is Oscar here. Oscar is a full-bodied silicone baby, so he's entirely made of silicone. He's anatomically correct. His entire sculpt, and he is the Dwayne Awake #2 by Claire Taylor Dolls. A Reborn doll is made of vinyl. Reborn dolls are vinyl dolls, and they are vinyl limbs and head, and they have a cloth body. There are also partial silicones, and a partial silicone would be silicone limbs and head on a cloth body. So those are the, different. And then, of course, we'll get into like 3/4 limbs, full limbs, and things like that. But important to know the difference between a Reborn and a silicone doll. And there is also a very considerable price difference, usually. Although some Reborns can get quite up there in price, depending on the artist. But usually there's a considerable difference in price. Reborns being lesser expensive than most or many silicones. So you want to know what an artist is. And of course, now we've went over Reborn and silicone. An artist here in this hobby, when people say this is the doll's artist, the thing you want to know the difference is there's a sculptor and an artist. Sometimes they can be one and the same, but I'm just going to give you an example. Stellan here. This is Stellan. Say hi, aunties and uncles. Stellan is the Levi sculpt by Bonnie Brown. So the sculptor in this case is Bonnie Brown. That's the sculpt. So when a sculptor sculpts the kit, they have it poured into vinyl. It comes out into a blank kit. So it would be, they send that off to a manufacturer, and then it goes to the dealer to be sold. So a kit looks like this. It's head, limbs, sometimes a belly plate, comes with the COA. I don't know if I wrote a card up for COA. COA is going to be something that you're going to see in, advertisements if you're looking for dolls for sale, especially on the secondary market. You may see, doll comes with, whatever, COA, pacifier, this, that. COA is certificate of authenticity. And the Reborn kits come with an authentic COA. And then we're going to get into like limited edition and things like that. And that's important also to know that you are not buying a knockoff that's stolen an artist work. That's certainly something that we want to avoid doing because we want our artists here to continue to sculpt. There can be reasons like someone lost a COA or something like that, but they're, get into the hobby a bit, and there's ways to, really be able to determine. Anyways, so that is the difference. So when you hear a collector saying, this is the Levi by Bonnie Brown, that is the sculpt that he is. His artist is Pearl of Happiness Nursery in Australia. So, Pearl at one time got the Levi kit, painted him. I'm not his first mommy, so I didn't buy him directly from the artist. And I happen to have, his third mommy. I had his hair re-rooted by, a rooter here in the U.S. So it's not, the same hair that he had. But in general, when you're looking at a doll, I'll give you another example. So this is AZ, which is short for Azariah. This is my AZ. He is the Azrael sculpt by Georgia Pagot. So Georgia Pagot is his sculptor. So that's who sculpted this beautiful, amazing sculpt. And his artist is Kimberly at Kimberly's Cocoon. So Kimberly's Cocoon is the one that brought this sculpt to life. She painted him and rooted him and, finished him. So it's important to know, what you're looking at, what other collectors are talking about when they introduce a doll. A great way to find artists and sculptors that you can follow is other collectors' box openings. Box openings is videos that 99.9% of the time the collector is going to announce the sculpt that the doll is. So you get the sculptor's name, that you can follow the sculptor, and who the artist was of the doll. So the sculptors are often on social media, which is something that is really important to network yourself on social media. You have Instagram, you have Facebook. We also have Doll Fan. That is a paid membership, but that is there. And these are the abbreviations. IG is for Instagram. FB is for Facebook. YT is for YouTube. So if you see somebody say, follow me on IG, or do you have an FB account, or I have a new video up on YT, that's what that means. You'll hear a lot of that here. So you can find the Reborn or silicone artists, most of them. I mean, I think the greater majority of sculptors and artists here are somewhere on social media, and often they will post their work. We did so. Let me get down. I need a different card for that. But you may see this whip WIP, work in progress. That's what WIP means, work in progress. So if you're following sculptors and artists on social media, and they may show a sculpt, in clay form, partially done, or just a head or something, and it says WIP, it means they're sharing their work in progress. Same thing with Reborn artists or silicone artists. They may show a few layers of paint on the limbs and show work in progress. They're showing their work. Not all of them show the work in progress as it goes along. Some of them wait till the end and just share their, final product creation. But a lot of them share work in progress. So that's lingo you will see. More abbreviations here. LE. LE is limited edition. So like I showed you the COA for that kit. Now, if the kit the Reborn kit is a limited edition, you're gonna see this advertised limited edition. So they may have made only 1,000 of that edition, so it's limited to 1,000. The COA will say you have number 75 out of 1,000 or 32 out of 1,000, whatever your number is on your doll. You'll see limited edition. Something else to look out for is SOLE, SOLE. SOLE is sold out limited edition. So you may see ads for a SOLE kit or SOLE baby. So if it's up for a kit, the only way to get a sold out limited edition kit would be on the second market, and you're likely looking at, they can go way up there in price. The harder and more rare they are to find, the higher in price they may go. AZ here is actually a sold out limited edition baby kit. So if I were to put him for sale, I would put rare soul, kit and what the kit is. So now you'll see this on eBay. You'll see all of this lingo all over the place. Another one you will see is GHSP, and that is Genesis Heat Set Paint. GHSP. So Genesis Heat Set Paint is one of the primarily there's two types of paint a Reborn artist or silicone artist would use, and that is Genesis Heat Set Paint or air dry paints. I think the heat set is you see it more often. It's more popular, but some artists do use the air dry and do an absolutely amazing job with that. Air dry paints are water-based. Genesis heat set paints are oil-based paints, and they have to be baked in between layers. Genesis Heat Set Paint is not a specific paint made for reborning dolls. It's been around a long, long, long time. It's just something that, artists discovered many, many, many moons ago that it worked very, very well for, painting these dolls. Air dry paints, there's many different brands of the air dry paints, and I think some companies have made them specifically for reborning. No FX is one. I'm not well versed in all the different air dry paints, so I'm not really sure, but there are ones that are actually specifically made for reborning. So that's about paint. Another abbreviation you might see is BB, and BB is Bountiful Baby. So Bountiful Baby puts out like their own line of, they have Reborn kits and stuff. So if you see BB, Dominic asleep, or that is BB means Bountiful Baby kit, Bountiful Baby, and whatever. I have seen the sculptor Bonnie Brown, her initials abbreviated in BB. I've seen that before. Um, but you'll know by looking at, at what you're reading, whether they're talking about, a sculptor or Bountiful Baby. Bountiful Baby is a dealer, supplier of Reborn supplies, kits. There are many. There's, McPherson's, there's Dolls by Sandy's, there's Irresistible. I don't know them all, but those are several of the leading ones. But Bountiful Baby is the only one that you normally see with an abbreviation that you would need to know. You will hear collectors and you may see artists talking about varnish or finish. So a lot of times, like, when I do a box opening of the doll, I may say, oh, wow, I love their matting, or I love the finish. Or so the varnish, the matting, the finish, that is the last layer that goes on a Reborn or silicone doll. And it's what, seals it up and also protects it. And there is a variety of different types of paints used, a variety of different ways that things are mixed to make either a soft, silky finish, to make more of a rough finish, anything in between. They have like dewy skin finish. There's all kinds of finish. As a collector, I prefer, the basic, matte varnish, and I like my dolls pretty rough. You don't want them to feel like sandpaper, obviously, but I like them pretty textured. So you will notice, in getting a Reborn doll, and it just depends on what doll you get from a collector or artist. And you may have preferences as you go along, and you really won't know that until you experience it. In my own experience, the bit more textured, done very, very well, so you can't see it. It's just very, realistic, and it helps prevent the dolls from getting very shiny very fast. So, excuse me. Sorry. As a collector, I love that, and I just, like a bit of texture. To me, skin has texture anyway. So, but that's what, when you hear all those terms, that's what people are talking about. Safety pic, safety photograph is something. If you are new to collecting and you are purchasing off of, say, a Facebook, buying, selling page for Reborn dolls, say, and you are unfamiliar with the seller, first off, I have to say, I do not recommend purchasing a doll secondhand, from just someone that you don't know and nobody else knows. I would really take my time to do some research, to network a little bit, get to know some collectors, get to see who's, around. Also check out a few, there's actual scammer pages that you can see lists of people that are scammers, and they will try to list all the accounts or names that person has used to scam. Most of these groups actually vet to put up a scammer's name, you have to prove that they scammed in some way. The moderators will ask for, screenshots or emails or whatever proof that it happened. So that's a way, and networking yourself and just getting to know is a way. So you are much safer if you're buying secondhand to buy from a reputable collector here in the community. Transparency is wonderful. If they have a YouTube channel, go watch it. If they show the doll on video, go watch it. If you can, it just safeguards yourself if you do wind up buying from someone that you don't really know, or even if it's somebody reputable, but you personally don't know them. Ask them for a safety photograph, a safety pic. And a safety picture would just be a card or a piece of paper like this that they would write their name on and put the date and take a photograph of the doll. And that at least proves that they have the doll in their possession and that they're not stealing someone else's pictures of reborn dolls and saying, I have this doll for sale, because that happens all the time. They don't even have the doll in their possession. So you can at least ensure that someone does have the doll in their possession by asking for a safety picture. All right, we went over what a partial and a full bodied is. And the last card I have here to talk about today is full limbs or 3/4 limbs, arms, legs, or 1/4 limbs, which you really don't see 1/4 limbs in reborn dolls. But let's start at the top here. Full limbs on a reborn doll means that the limbs go all the way up on the legs. They go, all the way up to the cloth body. You have a whole leg and you have a whole arm. You have a shoulder. So it's just the cloth body, and there's, the 3/4 would be 3/4. You would have 3/4 of an arm for the sculpt, and then you would have the cloth in here for the shoulder, and legs the same. The sculpt would be like up to mid thigh, and then you put it on a 3/4 body, so the body has material coming down. Some dolls, like actually AZ over here, he has 3/4 arms. So his arm goes up to here, and then he has, cloth up here. I should have opened his thing, but I can show you all in another video. So sometimes a doll might have 3/4 arms, but full legs, or vice versa. Usually you don't see vice versa, but maybe sometimes. I think that, the 3/4 limbs are phasing out, and that's just my personal opinion. You can ask other collectors. Everybody might be able to chime in here, but I really do. I think that it's phasing out because most collectors realize that they would prefer the full limbs for the realism and for dressing the dolls, so that you don't have to try to cover up any of the cloth body. You can put sleeveless, tops, and, show the baby in their diaper and things like that. But, that's a pretty much a deal breaker for me. I definitely prefer full limbs, but as you can see, I have an amazing sculpt here. So I personally, if it's a doll that on a whole I love that much, I will get past 3/4 arms. I'm not sure legs at this point, but arms I could deal with. Like the kit that I showed you, the Mama's Little Monkey, that's a blank kit. That's also a sold out limited edition kit. I bought that kit on the second market. I plan on having, an artist paint it down the road, and that baby has 3/4 arms, but I wanted that sculpt. So you'll find that you may be willing as a collector to make an exception. And also getting started, if you're starting yourself on the secondary market, you may be more inclined to be able to find a doll that is 3/4 limbs, that is painted beautifully and rooted beautifully, and everything you want as far as the realism and beautifully reborn, that may be just a little bit less than a newer brand new sculpt or full limb sculpt. That's exactly what I did when I started out, and it was only like 3 years ago, but I dove in hard and fast, as many of you know. But I bought secondhand dolls that were older sculpts. They were 3/4 limbs, but they were amazingly reborn. They were beautifully rooted, they were beautifully painted. So, I got to experience that amazing realism in the painting and the rooting right away. Not so, as the years go by, the sculptors, they get more inventive and the sculpts get more realistic looking. And so the more realism there is in a sculpt, right there, the blank kit, the sculpt has, a certain level of realism that may or may not be there in older. There are some older sculpts that definitely have it too. It just depends. You gotta look. That's why it's interesting to look at the blank kits. Look up kit reviews on YouTube. A lot of artists will do kit reviews. There's not enough of them, in my opinion. I wish more would do them, but you can find them. You can also go on the manufacturers like McPherson's, like Dolls by Sandy, like Bountiful Baby, any kit dealer, and you can look at the kits. You can look at the specifications for the kits, meaning, approximately what size doll will that be once it's put on the proper body. Is it a preemie size doll? Is it a newborn size doll? Is it more of a 0 to 3 month size doll? Is it more of a 3 month or 3 to 6 month or 9 month or etc.? Or, then we get up into the toddlers. You can look and see what, does it have full limbs? Does it have 3/4 limbs? Is it sleeping baby? Is it awake baby? So you'll definitely feel a level of confidence even going onto the second market and looking if you familiarize yourself with sculpts, if you familiarize yourself with artists and sculptors, which is pretty easy to do nowadays because there are so many collectors that do YouTubing. You can go onto our channels. You can listen to what the sculptor is, what the artist is of dolls that you in particularly are drawn to. So if you have a YouTuber where you're like, wow, I love all their dolls, go through their box openings or their details videos of their dolls and get the names of the sculptors and the artists and just go on to your Instagram or your Facebook and follow them. Now, usually once you start following other collectors and once you start following sculptors and artists, the social media kind of does that for you because then they'll pop up with suggestions of, based upon who you are following and the pictures you like. It's a little creepy that they spy on us like that. The social media sites, like they just know your shopping habits. They know all your habits. But in this case, it's helpful on social media because it will then connect you and you'll be able to start following more and more sculptors, artists, and other collectors. So that's getting your feet wet. I really, really recommend doing that, networking a little bit. I know it's hard to have patience, but some of you all come in and like many of us, you are sticker shocked. You are shocked by the prices. You did not expect to, be dolls to cost this much money. We're going to do a whole video on price. I get it. I get some of you, haven't even been able to get like, hey, what's the ballpark and why are dolls priced this way and where can I go to get something reasonably priced? And we're going to talk about, setting realistic goals for yourself within your budget and why people get let down, why they will go and spend money on a doll and they think, oh, wow, I spent $200. I spent so much money. I don't understand. And I got this doll that it's just, the paint is peeling off, the hair is all pluggy, whatever. And they're not being understanding or being realistic that that's what you're going to get, understanding the pricing, also understanding the kits. understanding the price of where it starts, because you can get a Bountiful Baby kit on sale for, $35, and you could have a sold out limited edition kit that an artist bought on the secondary market for $600 for the blanket alone. There's a huge difference. So understanding that helps you understand, and it also helps you not get scammed. So you'll look and say, wow, oh no, I know that that doll is just not gonna be that price, and there's something wrong here. um so that's helpful. I think the dolls are obtainable in one way or another, or some, sort of doll to get yourself in and get your feet wet. I'm also going to do an entire video on that for, ideas for those of you that are on fixed incomes or much lower incomes, a way to still enjoy the hobby and perhaps get yourself to where you really love to be. But we're going to get real with each other so that I can help you all, because there is a way for everyone. Yes, some of it does involve a little bit of patience, loving what you have, networking with others, taking time, saving what you can, but everybody can get somewhere, and we're going to talk all about that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the first video in this series. I hope you learned a little bit about, what you're looking out for, and the next video will roll on into the next thing we want to talk about. Let me know in the comments what sort of questions you have. Give me some feedback, please, all of you seasoned collectors. If you have things that you'd like to add, help out, read through these comments, help out some new collectors in here. Let's all pull together, and I'm just looking forward to having a fun year with all of my, friends that are here, all of my viewers that are here, all of my new subscribers that are here, everybody that's new rolling into the hobby, and all the stuff I got going on my channel to show you this year. I'm really excited about. So, all right, talk to me, folks. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and so you receive invites to my live streams. All right, everyone, thanks for joining me today. God bless.